Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to a Tall Girls podcast. I am your host, India, a fellow tall girl myself. Don't believe me? Check out my Instagram at a Tall Girls podcast, and my bio will tell you so. And feel free to give me a follow while you're at it. So, as you can tell by the title of today's episode, I'm going to be talking about heels. And I know that this can be a very touchy topic, like very touchy to us tall women. And I feel like that has a lot to do with social media and toxic heightism. By the way, I did an episode on toxic heightism and social media, like what it is, how to pick it out and identify it on social media, and how you can combat it. So feel free to check that out, but only after you finish this episode, okay? You gotta listen to this till the end. So back to the discussion at hand, heels. I never had a genuinely good experience with heels when I was younger, due to the fact that I did have a hard time, very, very hard time walking in them. I don't know, maybe I had some type of balance problem or something when I was younger, but every time I wore shoes that was even a centimeter higher than what I was used to off the ground, I will fall straight to the ground, and that's not even a joke. It was a problem. I don't know why, but it also made me feel very insecure and very self-conscious, because that's literally synonyms, but you know what I mean. Because I was already so much taller than my peers, especially the other girls that I would hang out with and that I was around. And then adding the heels was like adding an extra 2 inches of height. And I always felt like the odd one out, because that means I was going to be extremely taller than my peers, especially the girls. And even the guys. I was even tall. Even without the heels, I was taller than the guys. So then adding heels and then being even more taller than the guys, that I never really liked that. And they never really liked that too. But honestly, who cares about what they think at this point? But obviously my confidence has increased over time and over the years. And the amount of care that I actually gave and had for what people thought about me has decreased significantly. So the other day, I made the courageous decision to buy my first ever pair of heels. And I did a little IGTV video type of thing on this, by the way, of me going to pick out the heels and stuff. So you should totally check that out on my Instagram at a Tall Girls Podcast. It will be linked below. Don't worry, so you can check it out after this episode, okay? So the other day I went to Aldo, which has really nice shoes, by the way. So I went to Aldo to look for a pair of heels. I went with my mom, and we just walked into the store, browsing, looking around, minding our own businesses, just doing whatever. You know how you go into the store firsthand and you kind of have a vision of what you want, but you want to look at the other options first before you decide to just ask a sales associate or a salesperson, anybody working there. You just want to browse around and see what you can find first before you ask somebody. So me and my mom, we were just looking around, and one of the ladies that actually worked there just came up to me and asked, "Hey, do you need any help?" And you know, something normal that a person working there would say to a potential customer who wanted to buy something. And I was like, "No, I'm good, thank you." Keep this lady in the back of your head, because she's going to be very important and very problematic very soon. So I'm looking around and I see some small block heels. They came in different colors too. It was khaki, it was black. So I saw those 2 pairs of black heels, and I grabbed them, and then I asked the same lady before that asked me if I needed any help. I asked her to give me the heels in 2 different sizes, 9 and a 10, because I didn't know how sizing at Aldo works. It's kind of weird how sizing works in different stores. And I used to shop at Payless too. That's actually where I tried on my first ever pair of heels, in Payless, and it was so embarrassing because it was like those long kind of columns. Like, think of it as a library. I would say a library that has all of the shelves with the books. Payless was like that, but with shoes. It had just shelves of shoes, and it would have the 2 little seats in the middle. So there would be a lot of people going and coming, and then just imagine me trying to wear a pair of heels and walking past people. It was embarrassing. But I'm like going off on a tangent. But yeah, after Payless decided to close down, I really started realizing that all these other places, they have different types of sizing. It's crazy. Like, I have a pair of kind of slippers. Yeah, flip-flops. Kind of slippers. Flip-flops that I got from Target, and I'm a size 11. Like, how does that work? A size 11? But when I'm shopping, let's say for an Adidas pair of sneakers, I'm a 9.5. I don't know how the sizing works, but that's just how it is. So I asked her for a size 9 and a size 10 so I could see like which one will fit me and which one wouldn't, because sometimes in these stores you have to size up. So I asked her for those 2 sizes so that I can try them on. And she gives me this look, like she stares me dead in my eye, upwards by the way, because she is shorter than me. She looks me dead in my eye like, are you kidding me? And I'm looking back at her. I'm just waiting for her to just, scan, because they scan the stuff on the shoes now to see if they have the sizes available. I'm just looking at her, waiting for her to scan the thing on the shoes so she can look for it and let me know that the sizes are there. And she's not doing it. She's still looking at me. And I'm looking back at her like, can you scan the thing so you can let me know if they have the size in the back? Thanks. But she's still looking at me, and mind you, she's like half my size. I'm looking down, I'm straining my neck because she was probably like 5 feet tall. That sounds really bad. It sounds like I'm making fun of her. I apologize, but that's just how it is when you're tall. So I'm looking back at her, and I'm just thinking that she is one of those short girls who judges tall women for wearing any type of heels, probably. Honestly, you never know nowadays. But anyways, after a good minute of her staring at me and me staring back at her, she goes, "Those," and points to the shoes that I have in my hands. And I'm like, "Yes, please," trying to stay nice and all, but I was really picking up on the attitude. So I said, "Yes, please." And then she scans it, sees if the sizes are available, then she goes back to get them. So fast forward, I guess, she brings out the shoes, I'm trying them on, and I'm walking around, and it's like, how you try on shoes and you walk around to make sure that it's comfortable, you can like walk in them easily and stuff like that. That's what I was doing. Trying the shoes on, walking around the store, seeing how it feels, how I feel in it. Can I walk properly? By the way, I did, and I was very shocked and very, very proud of myself. But I was walking around all nice and stuff, like, yeah, I'm loving these heels. These are nice and comfortable, and they look really nice. And people are staring at me. Like, the other people in the store were staring at me like, who is this giant? And I'm like, my name is India, thanks. But it makes sense though, because I was significantly taller than the men and women that were in that store. But honestly, who cares? I was really feeling myself at the moment. So I determined the size that I wanted and all. And then I called the same lady over to give her the other shoes back, because yes, please do not leave the shoes or the clothes hanging around the floor in the dressing room and stuff. Please be polite and give it back to them, because they are working very hard to work with these other customers that are probably giving them a worse time than you probably would be. But just make their lives a little easier and just give it back to them when you're done with it. So I give her the shoes that I don't want back, and I tell her that I was going to get the block heels that I did end up buying. And she looked at them and then looked at me and was like, "Are you sure you want those? Because they'll make you taller than you already are." I just want to have a moment of silence just so you can process that. I was so taken aback. I was like, wow, you would think that nowadays people would be more accepting of different body types. It's not just like the plus sizes and stuff. It's also for the extra long sizes too. You know, it's for the tall people too, just like it's for the short people too. And you would think that she would just be like, "Oh yeah, they look nice. Of course I'll ring it up for you." She decided to ask me that and tell me that. And I'm really just trying to hold myself back. And I'm like, yes, hello. Like, I like being 6 feet tall because I'll be much farther away from you. Thanks. But I keep my cool and I politely said yes. And let's just say, when I went to the cash register to pay for the shoes, I went to a different person from her. I could not. I did not think, I really don't think that I was going to be able to, stay cool, stay calm, stay humble if she decided to ring them up, because you know how it takes a while to ring them up and they have like a little small talk conversation. I was not hearing that, especially not with her. And I could feel, especially when I was purchasing it and then walking out, I could feel her giving me a look. Listen, I'm sorry that you can't be as tall as me. I'm sorry that you're jealous that I'm literally almost a foot taller than you. And jealousy does not look good on you. So please, calm yourself. And for my tall girls, if you want to get those heels, get them. You're not too tall. You're not going to be too tall in the heels. It doesn't matter. You're perfect the way you are. And please do not let workers, or I don't even know what to call them, shoe people, clothing people, anybody working in any type of fashion department, don't let them make you feel bad about your height. Okay? So that was my little story about how I bought my first pair of heels, and I'm genuinely happy with them. When I wore them the night out that I went out with my friends, by the way, that IGTV will be coming up on my Instagram very soon, so you should totally follow me on Instagram. That will be linked below. But I really like them, and I'm just glad that I didn't let myself feel bad that she was low-key judging me for wanting to buy heels. So that was my little story. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you. Hit me up on my socials. As I said, probably 15 times this episode. They'll be linked below. And I will see you in the next episode. Good night and goodbye.